I got to start us off. And welcome back to another episode of the Boys in the Berg podcast. So we got a new guest today. We got Brian Jones. How you doing, Brian?
How y'all doing, man? I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. We're going to talk about some football, conference championship, all what happened. We're going to talk about Brady's retirement, a little bit of the Flores incident, and what's going on next week, 2 weeks from now in the Super Bowl. So let's talk about Brady's retirement. Who wants to kick it off?
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady officially put out a statement a couple days after the rumors went around. Originally, he hadn't decided and wasn't official, but today he made a statement saying that he's retiring. I found it odd. Didn't mention the Patriots in his official statement. He later thanked them after the Patriots made a statement, but just a little bit odd. What do you think about that?
I find it very odd too. It's 20 years with that franchise, brought them from the ground, literally from the ground up. And you went from being a scrub they picked at, was it 199 in the draft, to arguably the greatest player of all time in any sport, actually. You know, greatest maybe not athlete, but greatest competitor in any sport. You know,
I agree. I mean, it shocks me a little bit. Like Brian said, you know, he was there for 20 years, changed the game, 6 Super Bowls, 9 appearances, but in a way it doesn't, because how they treated him at the end. And plus, I mean, there were so many times they wanted to get rid of him. You know, Belichick thought Jimmy G was the guy. Kraft intervened and said, no, we're going with Brady. This is our guy. He won 2 Super Bowls after that. But the thing is, they kind of kicked him out after that Titans loss, and he kind of just faded away from New England and how they treated him. So I think he's hurt a little bit how it ended there, plus with like Belichick and the Kraft relationship. But overall, it doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, and, you know, he said that he felt he was ready to lead New England before that season when they lost to the Titans. So I think that's big. But, again, goes to Tampa, wins a Super Bowl. Had a good chance this year, fell short. But
Nope.
I don't think he was physically incapable of playing anymore. I think it was all mental and the family's aspect of it and his personal life, which made him step away. But I mean, I think he could go for as long as he wanted to, if that's what he wanted.
It definitely wasn't no physical problem. You know, 44 years old, throwing the football 50, 60, probably 70 yards down the field with ease. Pretty sure none of our fathers who are in their 40s or whatever can throw the football 10 yards, you know, so without, you know, rupturing like a rotator disc in their shoulder or something. But you know, what his whole routine of keeping his body in shape and the amount of money and prep and all that, it goes to show you that he was really dedicated to the game. And you know, like if he does stay in retirement, let's not be surprised if in like a season or two he's like, I'm gonna come back, and it's still dominating the same way he is now. So
I think he's done. I don't see him coming back. I think
not really
everything that made him retire now, I don't think that's going to change in a couple of years. But, you know, as a Steelers fan, I don't like the guy because he always beat us, but you got to give him the respect. He's the ultimate competitor. I mean, he just knows how to win, and he's the GOAT. He's the best of all time.
Without a doubt.
You can't hate on greatness. So,
yeah, I mean, look, he retired because he was winning too much. I mean, like I arguably could be the MVP this year. He broke so many records, led the league in virtually everything, and almost went to the conference championship again. So it isn't a physical thing. Like you know, Brian was saying, it's a family thing. He wants to spend time with his family because it's like emotionally draining being away from your family constantly on and off the field. So that's, you know, he wants to start the new chapter of his life. But I mean, hey, he could have retired 5 years ago. He keeps adding on to his amazing career, reinventing himself.
Maybe he just like kind of try to solidify it. So like years in the next couple of years or whatever, 10 years, whatever, he's like, no one's going to get close to this, you know,
nobody's ever going to touch him.
No, not at all.
And
600 touchdowns.
Yeah, another thing this does is I think this really dismantles the Buccaneers because as we know, both Leftwich and Bowles are both interviewing for head coaching jobs. They have no incentive to stay anymore. Arians, he might leave now if he doesn't want to be there without Brady. And it immediately becomes, when Brady was there, it was a free agent hub. That's how they won the Super Bowl last year, signing guys like, Fournette. But now it's not as big of a spot anymore. And I think they'll still be a competitive team, but I don't see them contending for a Super Bowl for a while.
Nah, I agree with that. Like, I feel like they could probably make the playoffs, that we have a good team around them, good defense. You still have Mike Evans, Gronk, if he decides to keep playing or whatever, Fournette, like you said. But it's just a matter of they don't have that it like Brady had whenever you talk about Tampa Bay. Like Tom Brady, we're talking about, he came in, Jameis had a year before Brady came in, Jameis. And he threw 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns,
33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
And Brady came in with basically kind of the same team and took them all the way from not making the playoffs to winning a Super Bowl within a year. So
yeah. And I think Gronk's done too. He's one of the most beat up players in the history of the NFL. I think he's done physically, and without Brady there, I think that's it for him too.
Yeah, he's too connected to Tom. And plus, I was going to say about Buccaneer fans, you're going to see a lot of bandwagons hopping off the train after this year. Because, most fans just came because of Brady. But, I mean, I think they could still make a decent run. They're in a terrible division. So.
I mean, they would need a pretty solid quarterback, but.
I mean, but, look who's in their division, though. I mean, Atlanta, they're going to get worse. Carolina confuses me. The Saints they just lost Sean Payton. So if they get a solid piece like a quarterback, I agree, they can still be fine. But it won't be like Super Bowl runs, I don't think, ever, because you don't have Tom Brady.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Super Bowl, we now know it's going to be Bengals versus Rams. Bengals defeated the Chiefs 27-24 on a last-second field goal in overtime by the man, the myth, the legend, Money McPherson.
Defeated my bum.
McPherson might be my favorite kicker of all time because I live on McPherson. That's named my street, so I got to show some love to him.
Oh, yeah. Right about that.
Again, not a great time to be a Steelers fan. Here's the thing about the Bengals. I hate the Ravens and the Browns a lot more. I still hate the Bengals because of the Burfict and Pac-Man Jones era. And obviously this is a completely different team. So I don't have a whole lot against them, like the team right now. I would just rather see the Rams win than the Bengals just because they're an AFC North team. But I have nothing against them.
I have to disagree with you there, man. I was when the Bengals drafted Jamar Chase. Everybody was like, "Oh, why did you get Penei Sewell?" I was one of the people that was like, "Yes, pair him up with someone he can trust, and he's going to make it work." And 9 months later, look where we're at. He's going to the Super Bowl. I like Joe Burrow. I like when he was at LSU. I like what he did there. I like his story. I like the Bengals, and I like the Bengals winning it all.
I agree. I don't want to see the Rams win. I don't want to see all these bandwagons coming to school the next day, showboating and telling them I was a Ram fan since day one. Bull crap. I don't care about the Rams. I want to see the Bengals. This is a storybook season for them. Everybody was counting them off. They didn't think they'd make the playoffs. And it gets to the
bottom
Super
of the
Bowl.
division.
Yeah, exactly. You get to the Super Bowl, beat good teams. I mean, you beat the 1st seed, the 2 seed, and then they beat the Raiders too. I forget what seed, the 5th or something, but to get to the Super Bowl with this guy, and it's only his 2nd year. He only played 5 games last year with that terrible injury.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
And the big talk. Go ahead, bro.
One thing is the Rams, they got everything, man. You're in LA, you got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford. They have a great team, like great names on that team. And then you look at Cincinnati, it's a bunch of young guys.
Exactly.
Dudes who are maybe 2-3 years older than us, whatever the case is. And they came in and they're running through the whole AFC. They ran through the whole AFC like it was nothing. Now they had ups and downs, but look where they're at now. They're ready to play the big game.
Yeah, and the big thing is a lot of people talk about the second half. The Chiefs stopped being aggressive. They played conservative. And, I think if they just keep attacking, they win that game. But they took their foot off the pedal and they just let the Chiefs come back. The Bengals come back, and they lost because of that. I think, again, we were talking about Brady in the playoffs. Brady and Belichick, no matter how much they were winning by, they always kept attacking, never took their foot off the pedal, and they played until the game was over. And it looked like the Chiefs were just trying to get out of this game, without actually putting up more points on the board. And I think that's what hurt them.
No, especially that last play call before halftime to not take 3 points and try to get a touchdown and not get any points, which is stupid. But I think teams are starting to figure out Mahomes out. I mean, look, he had a horrible second half. He was terrible. And I think what they did a lot of disguises with 3-man rush, drop back, double Tyreek Hill. They took Hill out the game in the second half completely. He was missing. He had 2 targets and he didn't catch anything. So you took him out the game. You got to Mahomes with 3 or 4, and he made bad throws and bad decisions because he had too much time. So that's the thing. When you get Mahomes, he had on the one play at the goal line when he had like infinite time, almost 10 seconds, and then Hubbard came and sacked him. Yeah. But he makes bad decisions. So I think a lot of teams, like since that Tampa Bay Super Bowl, starting to figure him out. You take away Hill, rush 3 or 4, put disguises back, and they got to him.
True, I like that, man. It's been a trend all season, but like earlier in the year, it was really working really well. That defense, the 2 high safety look, it was keeping them contained. That's why they started off 3 and 4. But then, Mahomes, they got the run game in check, and they started winning. The only game they lost in that big stretch of wins was to Cincinnati, and it was so funny watching that game because it played out almost the exact same way. They went up 11, and Cincinnati came back. And then they won on a field goal. The same way they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and regardless of what happens this year, I think football fans should be excited to know that, especially in the AFC, you got a lot of good young quarterbacks. You got Burrow, who I think is going to be incredible. Herbert. You obviously still have Mahomes, Josh Allen, all these guys. I mean,
Mason Rudolph.
Dwayne. Hey, think about this. If it wasn't for Dwayne Haskins, right? We might not see Joe Burrow because Dwayne Haskins made Burrow transfer to LSU.
That's true.
But I think the AFC, especially, and the NFL as a whole, is, they've got a lot of good young quarterbacks, and it's going to be competitive. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be one-sided for for a team. I think we're going to see a lot of different teams go to the Super Bowl.
You also got another young quarterback, Mac Jones, in New England. He may not be Brady, but I feel like he could, take you to the playoffs every other year, whatever the case is, get you some good numbers. He's like a perfect fit for that system in New England,
Yeah.
Like what Brady was. I feel like he could definitely be up there one day.
Yeah, and other game, NFC Championship, Rams beat the 49ers 20-17.
Oh.
And
you bum.
Before we talk about Tart, again,
it's a topic of discussion.
I give him credit. He's one of the best receivers in the league. Put the whole team on Cooper Kupp. What are you doing? It's every game with this guy. I respect him. I think he's a great receiver. It's not like I don't like seeing him be successful. I just don't understand how teams don't just commit full into him. I
don't know. It's like it's like you see him. He's just some little receiver lining up in the slot. He's not like some really fast Tyreek Hill or some DeAndre Hopkins that's gonna go over the top on you, or Devontae Adams that's gonna route you up. The thing is, with him, he's gonna do all 3 of them to you in one route, and it's insane that he's done it throughout the entire season. Like no one's had a way to stop him.
His football IQ is just so good. The guy just knows how to play football.
Yeah, plus where he lines up too in that slot, it's where he succeeds real well. And plus, I think the Niners just gave him the middle of the field the whole game.
You gotta, hey, when you put him in the slot, man, you're not gonna put a corner on him because the corner's outside. You gotta either put a linebacker or a safety, and no linebacker or safety is guarding him one on
Yeah.
one.
Hey,
Nope.
and
That's
quick,
how.
quick
Exactly.
shout out to Cooper Cup's wife. That story kind of came through how she supported
yeah.
him through his college, get his NFL dreams. Shout out to her.
Shout out, man. She's living her life. She might win a ring within the next couple weeks.
It may be, you know.
And but the talk of the game, Jaquiski Tart.
Oh,
You know,
Bro.
can I go first, please?
Yeah,
Yes,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Brian. Let's hear this.
All right, hear me. I understand you play defense. Defensive players may not have the best hands compared to offensive players. That's a fact. But good Lord, man, it was in the bread basket. It was like he threw the ball to you. Like it was in the bread basket. And come on.
Yeah,
man.
he was in like the middle of the field. The two receivers won the hash marks. He was by himself.
Dude, it was unbelievable. I was like, oh my God. And he was like, I dropped it. I said, what the heck?
Yeah, and
I'm
obviously I'm nowhere close to an NFL player. I never will be. Those guys are the best of the best. I think I could catch that ball. I'm just saying.
How do you drop that? Seriously. I mean, Stafford handed you the game basically. He said, hey, I want to go to the Super Bowl. I want to go home with my hot wife or something. And he says, all right, no, I'm going to drop this. I want you guys to go. I'm like, dude, Ray Charles can make that catch. Any blind guy will make that catch. How do you drop that? Because look at it. If they get the ball with 9 minutes left, Rams had no timeouts, 49ers up by 3. Think of the time they could take off. Even if you go 3 and out with 3 runs, you're taking off like 2.5 minutes almost. But
that was the game right there. That's what.
It was the game. I mean, come on.
That's what sent the Rams to the Super Bowl.
It was over. And
Terrible.
like I was watching, I was saying, the commentators, they're like, yo, that's the game right there, whatever the case is. And like, yo, like you had your moment right there. That was your moment. Your moment. He had no interceptions throughout the entire season. He had no interceptions in the regular or postseason. This is your moment. They would have built a statue out of you outside,
Exactly.
They would have rattled to the field, But it's so baffling to me. I played corner, in high school. It's not high school, about a couple months ago, my last play, and like I never dropped an interception. It was just like, come on, man. That's like a cornerback's, a defender's dream right there. Like I know his eyes were this wide, and it slipped right through his fingers. It was unbelievable.
There's gonna be a new Pop-Tart flavor after him if he catches that ball. But no, I mean, come on, dude. That was like, it's like, come on. And then the worst play call I've ever seen. This is what Kyle Shanahan does. He's known for choking. He's part of now 3 big chokes. 17-17, 6 minutes, 40-something on the clock. And you call 3 passing plays that go absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, Rams have no timeouts.
Exactly. You take 20 seconds off, not even.
Yeah, you could run that down. Rams can't stop the clock. All they got is the 2-minute warning.
Shanahan is he's a good coach, but he's a choker. That's the thing.
I mean, like what he did, I got to give him props. This year, I mean, what he came from last year to this year, like their team was injured. They had to go up Lambeau, play in the frozen tundra, and they did what they had to do. Came in underdogs, and they almost shocked the world 2 weeks in a row. But
almost
isn't good enough. So you're sitting at home questioning what if now. I know Jaquays Tart is. Good Lord, man.
If he has a job next year.
Yeah, and really big news today also broke. Former Dolphins coach Brian Flores sues the NFL along with 3 teams, alleges racism and hiring practices, along with a scandal with the Dolphins owner. So there's an article here by ESPN. I'll read it out. Brian Flores has sued the NFL on 3 teams, the Dolphins, Broncos, and Giants, alleging discrimination regarding his interview process with Denver and New York and his firing last month by Miami. The 58-page lawsuit was filed in Manhattan federal court Tuesday and seeks class action status. In it, Flores alleges Dolphins owner Stephen Ross attempted to incentivize him to tank on purpose, lose a game shortly after he was hired in 2019. this was the year they were tanking for Tua, with Ross allegedly offering Flores $100,000 for every loss that season. Flores says that as the team won games late in the season, Dolphins general manager Chris Greer told Ross he was mad that Flores was on-field success and compromising the draft position of the team. Additionally, Flores alleges Ross pressured him into recruiting a prominent quarterback at the end of the 2019 season, which Flores refused as not to violate the NFL's rules and tampering. Ross allegedly invited Flores onto a yacht for lunch in the winter of 2020, where he informed him that the quarterback was conveniently arriving at the marina for the impromptu meeting, this quarterback allegedly being Tom Brady. Flores again refused the meeting and left the yacht. Afterward, Flores alleges he was treated very poorly by the owner, and this is evidently what led to his firing this very recently this offseason. So another thing, Flores also alleged that the Giants interviewed him last month for their head coach vacancy for no other reason than compliance with the NFL's Rooney Rule, which requires teams to interview minority candidates for their open positions. The league has amended the rule in recent years and now says teams must hold an in-person interview with at least one external minority candidate for any general manager or head coach opening. Flores alleged he spoke with the Giants via Zoom on January 18th prior to the team hiring former Buffalo Bills assistant general manager Joe Schoen as its GM on January 23rd. It says that the next day, Schoen finalized his interview date for January 27th, and Giants co-director of player personnel Tim McDonald texted Flores saying he would hope he would come in and win the effing job. However, hours later, Flores' lawsuit alleges he received a series of texts from Patriots coach Bill Belichick, under whom Flores worked for 10 years in New England. In those texts, Flores had heard from Buffalo and New York that you're their guy. Flores then asked Belichick to clarify what he meant and if he was talking about him or Brian Daboll, who was also in the running for the Giants job. Belichick acknowledged his error and informed the Giants wanted Daboll. In Belichick's text, he said, "Sorry, I effed up. I double-checked and misread the text. I think they're naming Brian Daboll. I'm very sorry about that." The problem here is that they hired Daboll before Flores' interview. So Flores then had to go and after he had received this information, go into an interview knowing he wasn't going to get the job. The article goes on to talk more about, this issue all around Flores, and the NFL has stated that they're going to investigate this and defend themselves as the claims are without merit. Your thoughts, guys?
That's a lot, man.
It's a lot.
That is a lot.
My
different.
My personal
Go ahead,
opinion, I don't think they do anything about, the racial side of it. I think they'll find a way to get past that.
Yeah.
But the part about, the Dolphins owner incentivizing him to lose, that's a big problem. I mean,
that is definitely something,
And that's something where if that's found to be true, which I believe it is, I don't think he has any reason to lie. But
the fines coming out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a scenario where he's gonna have to sell the team to somebody. I mean, that really hits the NFL's image for competitiveness in it. I mean, even if you do want to get a better draft pick, you don't incentivize to lose. That's not how it works. You go out and compete every week. And I give Flores props for not agreeing to those terms and trying to actually go out and win.
100%. I like how you put it. But it's just like, we make jokes. You're like, oh, this team's tanking, this team's losing intentionally. But you never look on, you got to realize that's actually, you're not allowed to do that.
And the players want to win.
Yeah, of course. Your dream is to make the NFL. Your dream is also to win. You don't make the NFL and that's that. That's only in the first part of the equation. You want to win. You want to make it to the big game. You want to be playing in January, February football. But it's Hey, I'm coming to you like, let's lose or let's intentionally fail this test to help us out or something like that. That doesn't make sense, you know.
Yeah, and
Oh.
also I was gonna say, you said what, $100,000 incentive? The
Per
owner was
game
saying?
that they lose.
Per game. Okay, that guy is an idiot. First of all, the Dolphins, you don't have to pay anybody. The Dolphins suck. They're gonna lose because they suck. They're not gonna lose because anybody says so. Second of all, yeah, that's not right, as we know. I mean, that takes the whole. I mean, I guess as you're a coach, you get in there. Your whole goal is to win. Whole goal is to win playoff games, get to the Super Bowl,
Of course,
start a
yes.
franchise, build a culture, and you're told, all right, you got to lose. You're like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I got to lose, and that just like demoralizes you as a coach and demoralizes the players around you. That upstairs they don't believe in you, basically.
Yeah, and another thing, you know, with the whole when they were interviewing, they were looking for a QB at the end of 2019, and you know, obviously free agent hadn't started yet, so Flores said he wanted to wait, obviously, so he didn't break the tampering rules. And then they go on that, you know, the yacht, and that QB just happened to be there, and Flores said, "We can't do this because it's tampering." It had to have been Tom Brady because it was, you know, a prominent free agent QB, and who else could it be? Even though that's not important, I mean, not just the part about the incentive for losing, the whole thing with the tampering too. I mean, that goes against NFL rules. Another thing I forgot to mention is he also had an interview with the Broncos, where Elway and the other guys showed up an hour late, and it appeared that they had come back from like a night of drinking. And so it's just another thing of how he wasn't taken seriously in that process either. So, you know, I hate to bring race into, you know, this. I mean, but if you look at everything, I mean, what were the Dolphins? 9-8 this year?
Yeah.
And he gets fired. I mean,
and they just came off a good season last year.
Yeah,
too.
they won what, 8 of their last 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
The year before, I think they were 10-6.
Yeah, I mean, so he was not the problem, and
they're definitely a good team. You know.
Yeah, they're building a decent team down there, and I don't know why you would fire him, but I think, you know, wherever he can get a job next, he deserves it.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't understand it either why they fired.
It okay, but shocked to me when I saw the news breaking. I was like, Brian Flores fired. I'm like, what? He just they started off with 1-7 and ended 9-8. Are you for real? Like, come on, man. Like, you had a great season. You know, you started off rough, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And they finished pretty strong and almost made the playoffs.
Yeah. So as of right now, Mike Tomlin is the only coach of color left in the NFL, the only black coach. And I think other than Robert Saleh, who is Muslim, I think every other coach is white. I think that'll change with maybe Bowles and Leftwich, maybe Bieniemy, some of those guys. But this is a shocking situation.
Yeah, I don't know if
as of right now.
Say that again, Austin.
I was gonna say, like the Dolphins. I don't know what their expectations were. Like, were his expectations like we got to go to the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl? I mean, like, come on now.
Yeah, and I think that's why he got fired, because he was winning too much and they wanted to tank. But if he's winning, then he's a good coach.
They've been tanking ever since Marino retired.
You have a good coach, a really good coach, who came in with nothing and still doesn't have anything and is turning it into something. You just kick him to the curb. So now you got to you got to restart from scratch and start from ground zero. And after you already had something building up, that doesn't make sense to me. But.
Yeah. And here's an interesting little trivia question for you guys. With Brady's retirement, there are only 5, and Big Ben's retirement, there's only 5 active QBs who have won a Super Bowl. Who are those 5?
Mahomes, Rodgers,
Manning.
Active. He's active.
Oh, active right now.
Active.
Sorry.
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles,
Flacco,
Joe Flacco.
Russell Wilson.
There you go.
Right, got you.
I guarantee if you ask that to a lot of people, they'll forget about Joe Flacco.
Flacco?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot he was in the
rides the
league
bench.
still. I really.
He's not
I
really
don't know
active
what
though.
I mean, he was on a roster. He hasn't retired yet.
He
He
still
was
is
on a roster.
so
He's actively on the bench, but I'll give it to you guys.
Same thing with Nick Foles, but
He did win games this year though. I don't know about Flacco.
I think Flacco
I mean,
started once.
Flacco was on the Jets, man. Cut him some slack. Like, come on.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you there.
Jesus himself could have won a game. I'll take him to the
No,
playoffs.
I mean Jets.
Yeah, that's Tom Brady never. This is one thing everyone was talking about. Could he win a Super Bowl with the Jets to solidify himself as a god? He might have to come out of retirement and try it.
I might have to put him on a Madden franchise team and try. I ain't going to do that route.
No, Jets are just they're cursed franchise. That's how it is.
They're so dysfunctional.
Ever since Namath, it's been
Even
kind
since
of
Namath.
Yeah, you're right.
One Super Bowl. That's it. That's all they
He
can.
sucked anyways. I don't care.
Yeah, Austin does not like Joe Namath.
Shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Write that down.
I do
ladies and
agree with
gentlemen.
that. I think he is overrated.
If you have more interceptions and touchdowns, all right. How'd you get in the Hall of Fame?
It might have been off of like his impact on culture.
Because he wore fur coats.
Yeah,
Good for him.
yeah.
What? Because he predicted the Super Bowl. That's probably why.
Yeah, it's because Unitas went out. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, that is
played a backup.
true.
You played a backup. He's a bum.
Man.
Overrated.
All right. To end off this episode, we're gonna play a little NFL Would You Rather.
Let's get it.
All right.
Okay.
Here's one. Would you rather start a franchise with Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins as quarterback?
It's tough.
I'll take Kirk Cousins. I like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Kirk's the better quarterback, but
I mean,
Kirk-
Garoppolo
Kirk's
has
more
gone to a
consistent.
Super Bowl.
Jimmy's the better winner.
Yes. Yeah.
So give me Jimmy. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd probably
a
take
shock.
Jimmy.
I'm
It's better.
gonna stand by Kirk. Like, he's a consistent quarterback. He does get a lot of backlash in the media, but more times than not, it's not his fault. It's more like his defense or whatever. But Kirk Cousins, well, you're going to get what you get on paper with him. You're not going to get less. You're not going to get more. You're going to get what you want from him, and he's going to give it to you. True, but you'll get what you want. You'll get what you get with him.
All right, here's one.
like
Who would you rather have as your coach? Sean McVay or Mike Tomlin?
As of right now, I'll take McVay. I take McVay because it seems like Tomlin over the last couple of years has let a lot of stuff go with like the TikTok situation, players kind of doing what they want to do instead of him dropping his foot down and being like, this needs to stop. But it seems like McVay, he has a great record when he's winning at halftime. He has a culture in LA. Like, he has his foot down, gas on the pedal, going full speed, and he's in a Super Bowl right now. I'm not saying Mike Tomlin never went or can't go, but as of right now, I'll take McVay.
I take McVay also because of right now and how the game's evolving with the offensive minds.
Yeah, and I love Mike Tomlin. I think with the same team or at the same level, it's kind of 50-50. But McVay's just coaching. I mean, he's coaching a better football team. I don't know what that says about him as a coach compared to Tomlin. But yeah, right now you probably take McVay. Now here's one. Would you rather have Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase. I love that boy. So something about him. So statistically, comparing the rookie seasons, Jamar Chase had a better rookie season. It's just like this. They both bring a swagger to they both bring the same swagger. Both coming from LSU, both being great, good friends and all that. But it's like I like Jamar Chase. I really do. It's nothing against Jefferson. Not that he's not as good or better. It's just Jamar Chase brings something to the table that I really like, and I would really, really love, having him on my team.
Jefferson all day. I think
Yeah.
he's just a better receiver overall. But I mean, yeah, he did have a better rookie season. And I think where he's at now, he fits perfectly with Cincy. But when I look at skill wise, I think Jefferson's better. I'd rather have him.
I give the edge to Jefferson. I think Jamar Chase is just in a great system for him with Joe Burrow. I mean, he's an incredible receiver. I give the edge to Jefferson. I think he's just a little bit better physically. But all right, here's one. Would you rather be sacked by an unblocked J.J. Watt in his prime or Aaron Donald in his prime?
J.J. Watt.
Yeah, I'm not letting Aaron Donald anywhere near.
He's a nice guy.
Aaron Donald is just like a cannonball, just ferocity.
And the thing is, Aaron Donald has a six-pack at like 300 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean, the dude's a freak.
Like
JJ Watt pick me up and say, you okay, buddy? Aaron Donald will probably start laughing at me. So
Aaron Donald would take his helmet off and punch me in the face.
Probably.
All right, in their prime, would you rather have Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu?
Ed Reed all day.
I don't know. Ooh, I get this question a lot.
Smartest safety ever.
I might. I'm going to Troy Polamalu.
I'm taking Polamalu.
Yeah, I'm in the minority here.
My thing with here's the thing. They're two different safeties. Polamalu's he just makes big plays. I mean, he's all over the field. He can blitz, jump over the line, he's an acrobat. I mean, I think he's the better athlete. But as you said, Ed Reed's super smart. He can read a quarterback better than anyone. And that's why, it's always a good debate, and I don't think there's a definite answer. But I mean, Troy in his prime was I think he was the best.
I just think Ball Hawk's the best safety of all time, man. But I mean, I can't argue if you think Troy. It's really close, but I just think Reed was the better safety.
I was so in the middle of both of them. I just kind of went with Troy, but either way, you can't go wrong with either safety. So
no,
I'm kind of in the middle right there. But I go Troy. I give Troy it.
Yeah, I mean, again, two greats, hard to pick. And give the edge to Troy.
But you wouldn't give the edge to a Raven, though.
That's not even about the Raven. I mean, I respect Ed Reed. I just think Troy's a little bit better, in my opinion. But again, it's really close. Here's a good one. This isn't really NFL, but would you rather listen to Stephen A. Smith talk about Aaron Rodgers for 24 hours or listen to Skip Bayless talk about the Cowboys? Mason, who would you rather?
This came out of nowhere.
Who would you rather listen to ramble about football? I'm picking Stephen A.
It'd be a good show regardless. So
because I hate Skip Bayless. He's
24 hours.
Just straight. You gotta listen to him.
So it's just Skip talking?
It just Skip talking about the Cowboys.
Is Shannon in the back laughing?
Shannon's there, but he doesn't really get to say a word.
Didn't say anything. He's not even chuckling in the back.
He's laughing. He can't say anything.
He's laughing. I'm taking that.
Do they have him like duct taped down or so? I mean, I'll take Shannon. Shannon laugh in the background. I'll take that.
It'd make my day.
It would.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith's really funny, but he has some really bad takes. But Shannon Sharp is one of the funniest men on sports TV.
And he knows what he's talking about. He was in the league.
Give
the man some respect. He knows football better than any of these sports analysis. He was on the field, in the game, getting hit, catching passes, in the action. He wasn't up in a booth watching the game. Let that sit in.
Okay. Here's a good one to end it on. Would you rather go to the Super Bowl, like your favorite team, go to the Super Bowl and lose every time, or only make it once every 50 years but win?
50 years and win. Still won. I mean, you just be known as somebody that can't finish. A team
Yeah,
that can't
we'll make
finish.
it 20 once every 25 years.
You win every 25 years, or you lose.
Like you only make it once every 25 years, but you win.
I'd like that.
Yeah,
I'd take
I'll
that,
still take
probably.
that one. Yeah.
I'd like to see the Vikings do that.
Because I wouldn't. Again, seeing your team go to the Super Bowl all the time, just lose would be awful.
Heartbreaking.
The disappointment would it wouldn't even be
Yeah.
disappointing at a point, It'd be casual. I mean, the Panthers could, we're going to go to the Super Bowl next year, but we have to go into that.
Of course, Sam Darnold is going to lead into the promised land.
Never mind. I forgot about it.
Hey, Panthers could draft Kenny Pickett. You never
We
know.
can. But,
Panthers could
man,
sell the team.
knowing Matt Rule, he's not going to make that big move on the while we have him as a coach. But,
Brian,
they have a plan. There's some plan.
Speaking of the Panthers, Brian, we gave him a little shit
Oh.
at the end of last episode. You're a big Panthers
yeah.
fan.
I know. Yes.
How do you feel about what we said, and also how the Panthers are right now?
After I saw it, that was the reason I kind of get on here, kind of defend my team a little bit. It was, I mean, I don't know. Like Austin said, he don't know what's going on in Carolina. I don't know either. I really don't. We had a lot of potential. We started off 3-0, and just like the last 2 years, we ended off with 5 wins. It's like, come on, we have the pieces. We have what we need. It's just like the missing piece is a quarterback, I feel. The defense plays elite. We have elite receivers. We have 2 good running backs. We have a pretty decent offensive line. Just that one piece.
Although McCaffrey's never healthy.
Chuba
Hubbard.
He's a good running back. He's a good little decent running back. Give you solid yards a game, contribute to the team. And it's like we have everything we need, just the quarterback. Maybe it's the quarterback. Maybe it's Matt Rule. It's one of the two.
Well, first of all, I don't know who in their right mind thought Sam Darnold was a good option. That was just blasphemous.
I remember.
Second of all, the Matt Rule hiring I never liked either.
I remember the day they first person I called when they signed Sam Darnold. I think he might have called me was Austin. I think you might have called me or I called you. I'm not sure. And because it was so unbelievable to me. It was just like we just signed Sam Darnold. Like we could have got Watson. We even though Watson didn't play, we could have got something better. We could have went in the draft and picked up a quarterback. Could have got Trey Lance, Justin Fields, something, and we didn't.
Could have put Austin's great grandma out there. She'd probably be better.
I mean, get me wrong. J.C. Horn was good until he got hurt. He got hurt. That was a wrap.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
It's good, but we need a quarterback.
Looked how great you guys lucked out on getting Jeremy Chin.
Yeah.
Who was the dude that instead of Isaiah Simmons you drafted?
Derek Brown.
Derek Brown.
Who the hell is that? You know what I mean? That
Matt
was
Rule,
a terrible
man.
choice. Yeah, you had him in.
The crazy thing is, our second, third, fourth, whatever round picks are turning out better than our first round picks.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about it.
It's crazy.
All the talents there. I mean, you signed Stefan Gilmore.
Yeah.
We have a great secondary. We have a good defense. Hassan Reddick came out of nowhere and turned into a Pro Bowler along with Brian Burns, the good defense. Offense, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. Even Robbie Anderson's kind of like, I don't know where he was this year, but he still at the time. It's still Robbie Anderson, but it's like the quarterback. Come on.
And as Austin brought up, Panthers, they did Cam Newton wrong.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Anybody watching this, I want you to know, I am the biggest I am a huge Cam Newton fan. Like, I idolize that man. You can ask one of these two, and that is my dude right there. When I read the news, they cut him. It broke my heart. Like this man brought life into the state of Carolina, both South and North Carolina. He brought life, he brought energy, and he was the face of the franchise. Even when he was hurt, he was still the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
And you just want to kick him to the curb like he's nothing. Like, come on.
That
Yeah, he
shoulder
changed the
injury.
culture.
That shoulder injury really messed him up.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. He
But them kicking
wasn't
him
the
out like
same.
that was just terrible.
Blasphemous. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But then they
Blasphemous.
bring him back just to not have him start.
I know.
I,
Like, what the hell was that?
it's unbelievable. But
That
he
was-
did have, he did have his moments where he was like, throwing picks and all that. But you also got to remember, like, they just signed him off of free agency. He got to learn the playbook like that. That was his problem in New England. He came to New England late. He was on to a good start, really good start that year, and he got COVID, and the offense kind of kept moving. He kind of got left behind. So, whatever that case is. But it's like he has the talent to produce. You just have to work with him a little bit. That's what Ron Rivera did. He worked with Cam. And it turned out pretty good. Made it to the playoffs like every other year. Made it to the Super Bowl, 15-1. He worked with Cam. It seems like Matt Rule didn't take that time to work with him.
Yeah, new QB, new coach. That'll take in the
New
right
new
direction.
playbook, new owner.
Terrible GM.
Man, say it again. Say
Terrible
it again.
Yeah, I mean, that team was great. That 2015, 2016 year, man, they had it all. I don't know why you would say, let's get rid of Cam in a couple. Yeah, stupid.
No, even if Cam doesn't start, like or Cam like sits the bench, or he comes in when you need him on like goal line situations or like third and short or whatever. Keep him. Like he built this team. He built this franchise. All respect to Steve Smith and Julius Peppers, but he built the franchise in the 2010s. He came in first overall pick 2011 and throughout the whole 2010s, Carolina wasn't Carolina. They were Cam Newton, and the way they kicked him out was crazy.
Dirty. Yeah, you're right though. He changed the culture. I mean, he was the face.
He was.
Before this ends, I would like to hear your guys' Super Bowl score predictions. Curious.
I'm going. Get
Go ahead, Brian.
I Carter get it.
Oh, Carter, go. Good.
It's tough because I think the Rams D is definitely going to slow down the Bengals a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the best defense the Bengals have seen. We'll see in their playoff run by far. I think it's going to be another good game. And can we just take a moment of how good this playoffs has been, no matter who you're a fan of, other than when you get past the wild card round, every game has been super close down to the wire. I mean, this has been great.
I agree.
I think another close game. I think the Rams win by 3. I think it's going to come down to another field goal, something like 27-24, something like that. I think it's going to be really close.
I think it's going to be. I like Cincinnati. I like them winning. I think they win by a touchdown. So I'm gonna say 27-20. No, I'm going to go 23-30. I like that.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
I think they catch that defense off guard. It seems like every team they played that has a good defense, they kind of catch them off guard. Like, okay, we have the lead on them. It seems like we have our foots on their necks, but it's like they come back around and take over.
The thing is, they have not played Aaron Donald yet, and as good as the Bengals have done with that poor O line, that Rams pass rush is ferocious, and I think just having Jalen Ramsey to go against Chase,
Jamar,
it really helps out with not having to.
All right, you finish what you asked.
Yeah, it helps out not having to double team all the time. But I mean, you still get production from like T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. But again, I think it's going to be competitive. I mean, on the other side, Cooper Kupp is really good. I mean, Odell's still a great receiver. Van Jefferson. I mean, two really good football teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be I was going to say, I think 27-24 also. I think McPherson's going to continue his streak and end it on a last second field goal and win it for him.
Yeah, man. He's on the tear, man. He's on the tear. He is the Grim Reaper.
Wish the Vikings had this guy. You know, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice to
That's
have.
that's your missing piece right there.
It's always the kicker.
Could you see this game going into OT?
Yeah, I could see. I don't think it does.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I can see it. I definitely can.
But how NFL's got to be scripted at this point. I mean, all these OT games winning by a field goal.
All great games. I mean, you got Stafford revitalizing his career, you know, and then you got Burrow trying to really start and solidify what he can do.
Hey, man, it's definitely going to be a good game. It's definitely, you know, you look at it a year ago, you told me the Bengals would be in the Super Bowl, I would call you crazy. Straight up, call you crazy.
Yeah.
But look at them now, man. They are, you know, every year there's that team in the Super Bowl like that everybody is like a fan of, you know. I guess last year it was the Chiefs because the Chiefs had like that offense that was cool and like unique. The year before, the Chiefs again. I said every year there's always that team that has a swagger, but it feels like this game, both teams have that swagger. You know, no, Joe is not. You know, that's what I mean.
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
but everybody's rooting for this guy because he sent the Chiefs home, so we don't have to hear Mahomes' loud mouth anymore, and we don't have to see his brother dancing. He did the.
I would have put it like this. I have no beef, quarrel, anything with Patrick Mahomes. Great player, arguably one of the best players in the league right now. Is the people around him is ruining his image. It really is. It's ruining Patrick Mahomes' image, and he needs to have a sit down with them, talk to them, like calm yourself down. Like
I mean, you can tell.
Not, like, got it.
You can tell those are two people who have taken his fame and used it to their advantage. I mean, obviously his wife, but his brother. I mean, if it wasn't for him, he'd be nobody.
Hey, let's be real. Do you remember what he did at Sean Taylor's ceremony?
Oh, that was
disgraceful. TikTok. That's disgraceful. You kidding me? A legend.
Shout out. Remember that bar in Kansas City that wrote that really long letter to him?
I heard about it. I didn't read it, though.
Yeah, he tried to get him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's just annoying. I just love, like you said, I don't really hate Mahomes. He's a great player and all, but man, I love to see him lose now so she can shut up.
Yeah. Oh,
they're ruining his image. How do you? They're ruining his image.
You see what she did when they beat the Bills with the champagne on everybody?
Oh yeah.
It was freezing cold. Are you kidding me? It's freezing cold.
You get champagne on my jersey or shirt, man. We're fighting. You can't do that.
In a freezing cold. I don't care that it's one. You know, it's be a funny game. You might think like, oh, it might just be some water or rain or whatever. You look up, it's just fucking. I can't say it. You know, I'm not gonna say it. But it's just dumping champagne on it. Are you kidding me? It's freezing cold outside. I still gotta go home.
Good thing.
You know, the wife might think I've been out somewhere. You know, what the heck?
Yeah,
go
good
home,
halftime show this year, though.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Good halftime show this year, definitely.
Yeah, finally.
I mean, I know a lot of kids my age go to Dice. You know, just in general, they like the weekend. I didn't think it was that good. I mean, we haven't had a good one in a couple of years, but some rap legends should be good.
Like a decade. I can't remember a last good one.
Hey, you got Stafford and Eminem. It's the closest thing Detroit's ever going to get to a Super Bowl.
I know, that's the truth.
Oh, that's a low blow right there, man. Gonna have some angry Detroit fans watching this.
No, they're not angry. They're sad.
They accept it at this point.
They've accepted it since they were a team, basically.
Hey, they're gonna be happy, man. They got Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl. You know,
yeah, man. Look, he's revitalizing his career. He's proving us wrong. He can win a playoff game.
So Detroit is the problem. All right.
Everybody knows that.
Right down.
Yeah, I agree.
I just had to say it to be 100% sure. That's it.
Yeah, well,
Stafford. I always thought Stafford was solid. I don't know. He proved me wrong. He can win playoff games. Good for him.
Well, that's going to end off this episode. Brian, thank you for joining us. And
stay
tuned for the next one.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
See you, man.